Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for coming back again. Today was a really fun evening yesterday. Um, and today we've got another jam-packed day. So every hour, one, two, three, four, and five, we've got a different brewery that we're talking to. And yeah, thank you so much. Like I say, last night was great. I loved all the chat on the YouTube page. It's great to see the kind of little community that we've got going. So keep that going today. Like I said yesterday, if you've got any questions, anything you want to share with myself or with the people I'm speaking to, just stick it in the chat there, and I'll try and get round to it. So yeah, massive thank you, and yeah, another good one today. And the first session is with one of the biggest breweries in the country, I think. They've recently launched this fantastic beer, Lazer Crush. Yeah, they are Beavertown, and I'm delighted to be joined by Ben, who's the beer ambassador at Beavertown. Hi, Ben.
Hey, Robin. Yeah, thank you for having me. This is quite a nice thing to be doing, isn't it, on a weekend?
Totally, yeah, really appreciate it, and yeah, like I say, like to kind of have one of the real big boys in the craft beer scene coming into in the alcohol-free space, and it was fantastic, and there was real excitement when this came out, and and I know having you guys involved with this weekend is yeah, it's great, and it just shows how big alcohol-free beer is at the moment. So, like, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, what does your role entail? What you do at Beavertown?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my name's Ben. I'm brand ambassador for Beavertown. That basically means that I do various sort of staff trainings for pubs and tasting things, a bit like this. It's been a lot of sort of online based stuff recently, which is, it's been different, but it's been quite fun. I also do like POS drops and that sort of thing, but I've been with Beavertown for nearly 8 years now. So I started back in their restaurant in 2013. I was there for a few years. Then I was a delivery driver for a bit. Then I was in the warehouse for a bit. I did some packaging. Then I moved over to sales. I was an account manager for East London, and now I do this. So
Wow.
Yeah, being around the houses a bit, but
yeah, and you've been and really kind of being part of that growth throughout the years. Yeah, and also getting to see so many different aspects of the company as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the best thing is that I've got to try all these sort of specials and variations on sort of the core range we've had over the years and see sort of how it's developed and sort of naturally grown. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, but it's been a whirlwind, that's for sure.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the beer first. I've got one here. I've already opened mine. So cheers. Nice, perfect Saturday afternoon beer, I think. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the beer?
Yeah.
Where did it come from? When was it launched? Yeah.
So I mean, we've been really keen to get an alcohol-free beer up and running for quite a long time. I think we first had talks about it about 3 years ago. We actually started, a few sort of test brews about 2.5 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer. Yeah. Trying sort of different techniques, different recipes. But yeah, we settled on this one in the end, and we released this in October of last year. So it's our most recent sort of core range release, I guess. It's something we're super proud of. It's something we're really excited about. We think, like the alcohol-free market is growing, but also I think, like this summer, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be seeing people they haven't seen in a long time, probably going to the pub more often, but they don't necessarily want to be drinking every visit. So yeah, we're really excited about the beer itself, but also the sort of opportunity it's going to give us. And we worked with the guys at De Proof in Belgium.
Yeah.
So this is brewed with them. So if anyone else is familiar with De Proof, they brew a lot of beer from McKellar and Tool as well as loads of other great breweries. So it's a real honor to work with those guys. But
those guys. We're in the kind of alcohol free. We've had Coast for a while, the Scotch brand, and they brew all theirs over there as well. And so yeah, that was kind of an insight. Then obviously McKellar as well with everything they do. So yeah, I feel like the kind of alcohol-free drinker is very familiar with the proof, and it's great. Everything that comes out from there is amazing. So
Yeah, yeah.
when I saw that it was it was brewed there, I think you have an idea of what it might taste like, what it might feel like from the beers we've had from there before. So why was it brewed there rather than sort of in-house in London? Like, what was the decision for that?
Well, we've really struggled with sort of capacity and demand for, pretty much for the whole life of the brewery. We've always been struggling to keep up, and it was one of those things where we knew they were really on it. They had a really good sort of track record. We knew they were very, very capable. Like the guys there, they're world class sort of brewers, especially in the sort of emerging alcohol free beers as well. So it was a bit of a no-brainer, really. We started working with them. I remember seeing around our offices, we had sort of 20 different versions of it to try, and it took a long time. Everyone tasting it, everyone making sort of mental adjustments on what we think it should be. So yeah, it definitely took a little while to evolve, and it was something we worked on for a fair while. But yeah, just seemed to make sense, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, you say 2.5 years. You say you've been kind of developing it. So, and it's turned out brilliant. So I think it's worth taking that time. And you're not the only person who said that. Even the last couple of days talking to like yesterday talking to people, they've been saying that their sort of R&D is so important because they don't want to bring out something which is not good. They want people's first experience of it to be great. So it's definitely worth taking the time. Did Beavertown then contract out any other of their beers to other breweries, or how does that?
Yeah, we have some beer brewed at Brabandeer in Belgium as well.
Okay.
That was quite sort of to bolster our demand, really.
Yeah.
But mostly we brew in Tottenham Hale. We brew at the Tottenham Hotspur Football Stadium. We've got the kit there. And now we've been brewing at our Enfield site, which is our new brewery that's been up and running for about a year, but it's only just getting up to sort of full capacity and ability now. But yeah, so that gives us sort of a lot more scope, if you will.
Definitely. And like you say, you can meet those demands as well. Like you're not having to sort of schedule it in for a year's time or whatever. You can just do it there and then and get it. So I guess there must have been a lot of back and forth. How sort of heavily in the process were the Beavertown brewers going out to Belgium and working with the brewers over there? How does it kind of work when you do something like that?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not sure with the proof. So with the proof, they're quite closed off in terms of they want to protect the privacy of other brewers' recipes. So
sure.
I'm not sure how much they let other external brewers on site into the actual brew side of things. But yeah, we've had brewers backwards and forwards a lot. We're endless tasting sessions, and it's been one that so our CEO and founder Logan Plant, he's it's always his decision at the end of the day, really. It comes down to what he likes and what he wants to do. So we have our sort of sensory team, and we have our head brewers and lead brewers all involved, but it's all comes down to them meeting with Logan, really, and making a decision.
Get it signed off again. That's it. And so I know Beavertown kind of have it's also a low percent beer as well, isn't there? It's not just sort of the high stuff and then this. There's kind of that in between beer as well, isn't there?
Yeah, we have Nanobot, which is a 2.8 percenter. Nice. Which it's a different flavor again from the Lazer Crush we're drinking, but it's just like another sort of stepping stone, another option. That is another choice. You can have a couple of pints and not necessarily have the full effects of alcohol, but you are drinking alcohol. So another stepping stone, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like, because it's making it sort of accessible to anyone and everyone, I suppose. And you might have people that might not necessarily want to drink an alcohol-free beer. But they can still have something that's not that sort of 5-6%. So
it's not such a shock to the system.
No, exactly. I think what's also really it's really refreshing to see, and is how the kind of branding and the artwork all fits in alongside your core range of beers, your other beers that you've got, and so I guess it doesn't scream non-alcoholic beer, like some of them do. It hasn't got a blue cap, or it looks like a regular Beavertown beer. So can you just tell us a little bit about kind of the history of the branding, and it's on all the cans, isn't it? This branding.
Yeah. So I mean, the story is, I mean, and how it happened is that well, we started life in a restaurant in Hackney. With Logan brewing the beer to go with the food was sort of the original
I remember
idea.
going to that. I went to that place in the sort of 2012 or something, and that was it, wasn't it? Yeah. And yeah, I remember going there. I can't believe how it's taken off. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So the brewery officially got going beginning of 2012.
Okay.
So I joined the restaurant in 2013 as bartender.
Oh wow!
Sort of blew my mind with beer. But
at the original spot, where just off of the main road there.
Just on Downham Road, just by Haggerston Station.
Yes, so, yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. So I started in 2013 or so. That's in the summer. And a chap was working at the restaurant as a waiter called Nick Dwyer. He'd been there a few months when I got there. And yeah, he basically was starting to do more and more of the design and illustration and artwork for Beavertown. And then by the end of that year, he actually moved to the brewery full time. And since 2013, it's been all him. Everything has been designed and worked on by him. So he's been super busy, but yet still him. He's our creative director, has been since 2013. So it's all just sort of part of Nick's world of designs, really. I think, he hit the ground running. He found a theme, which was fun and exciting.
Yeah.
Sort of showed off the brand and the beer. Just kept running with it. And this is just, Lazer Crush has just become sort of another part of that world, part of that universe, I'd say. Maybe not part of that world, part of that universe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like I say, it doesn't kind of, it just fits in, doesn't it, with everything else? It's just part of it, and the same sort of colours and everything. I love it. It's so striking.
Nice. Yeah, we're as I said, we're super proud of it. It's also, I think the name kind of fits quite nicely. It's quite a fruity sort of refreshing beer, I guess. So.
Definitely. Yeah, it's kind of it's a little bit sort of a bit like the Mikkeller, the kind of core Mikkeller beers. It's kind of got that like tangy kind of a bit like said about like you kind of what to expect from De Prof, but it's got that. It's not too thin either. Lovely mouthfeel.
Yeah, so
it's perfect for Saturday. It's literally perfect barbecue weather, like we were talking about.
So for me, it's got like a little bit of sort of sweet orange.
Yeah.
Like on the nose, and then the flavor, it's quite peachy. Like that's the main flavor I get. It reminds me a little bit of like a peach iced tea in a way, because it's definitely got like quite a sweetness to it. The peach is quite bold, and then it's got like a bit of a sort of tea dryness, and then like a nice sort of bitter finish. So
bitter is great.
It does really hit the spot for me. Like if I want a beer but I don't want to have any alcohol, it's great now. I've got another option.
So you mentioned the new brewery. So that was a result of the sort of the Heineken. Was it 49% of the company? Was it that was sold? So Heineken came on board and then opened up a new brewery. Got into the Tottenham Stadium. You want to tell us? Let's start with the new brewery. What happened with that then?
Well, I mean, basically, we were brewing. We had some beer being brewed in sort of Belgium to make up. We had a couple of other brewers helping us out as well, so we could meet demand. And the idea was that we always planned to grow. We always planned to build a new brewery. And it was just sort of how big our sort of ambition was in that sense, and it was how big we wanted to go. But yeah, it was all about securing funding, really.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not sure exactly what sort of clicked first and how it all happened, but the Heineken investment. I mean, we still operate independently. We're still majority owned by Logan, his wife Bridget, and but yeah, we have the investment from them, so we have a financial obligation to Heineken. But you know, like it's opened a lot of doors for us, really. So you know, like the stadium, we've got into there. The beer going through there is when during game times is like is mind blowing amount. I think we account for about 35% of all beer sales in the stadium is Beavertown. So we'll do like 16,000 pints on a standard game, which is crazy. But yeah, it basically meant that we had these plans for a new brewery, and yeah, when we secured the funding, it basically meant we could go ahead and stick shovels in the ground and start it. So yeah.
And I guess had to employ more people as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're always growing faster than I can possibly sort of see, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it's I think we've got about 160 staff now. We're probably going to be about 200 within the next few months.
Amazing.
Just because we've got a lot more space and a lot more sort of brew sites going, and
all that beer in the stadium, that's mad as well, just to keep on top of that. I mean, that's more than you could ever imagine.
Yeah, so I think the really sort of standout one is for normal football games, you can't actually drink whilst in view of the pitch.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So yeah, I mean, but the other side of that is that when there's an NFL game, you can sit and drink. So there was an NFL game year before last that went on for about 7 hours, and they sold out of all the beer in the stadium, sort of all Beavertown. And I don't know the exact number, but someone was saying it was over 120,000 pints in one day. So yeah, absolutely mind-blowing amounts of beer. But yeah, an amazing opportunity. And yeah, the other thing, sorry.
I was going to say, is there potentially, with obviously you're not allowed to drink whilst watching the football, but could you potentially have the AF version? I mean, you see at the moment, you see the Heineken 0% on the boards and stuff for the football, and I've always wondered why. And I've been to watch football abroad, and you can buy alcohol-free beer to drink while you're watching it. I mean, it'd be amazing to see that, and it might be another stepping stone for alcohol-free. And yeah, I know when I've been to the football, and you get people that have never had it before, but because they want to have a drink while they're watching it, they'll have it and they'll drink it like it's a normal pint and not even think about it.
Yeah, completely opens up a load of doors as well. So yeah, I mean, that's something that I don't actually know about, but it's a really good point. I'm sure it's a discussion that's being had or has been had or will be had.
Probably don't need to. The amount they're selling before and after the game, not really much point. They're selling enough as it is.
No, but it's more about the enjoyment of it, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what's great about alcohol-free beer is that when you're just chatting with friends or you're having, and more like now it's like an evening in the park or something. It's just something to sort of start conversations and to be socially involved.
Definitely.
It's not about the alcohol as such. It's about sort of the flavor and the doing of something.
Absolutely. And is it available in the stadium, the cans, or is it just the core stuff?
We have a selection of cans in the tap room. I'm not currently sure of the current lineup actually, because we haven't had anything in there for a year in terms of.
Well, of course, it's not been open, has it?
I imagine it probably will go in, but I'm not 100% on that.
It'd be great to offer it to people. Yeah. So I guess like what's kind of next then for Beavertown? Is it keep growing? Is there any more plans for any more alcohol-free beer? What's the future looking like?
I mean, where we're sort of, there's a few different aspects to where we're going. I think mainly is now we've got our new brewery up and running. We can be brewing enough beer to sort of focus a little bit more on specials and one-offs and collaboration brews again. So we're definitely putting a big focus back onto that side of things, the fun side of brewing loads of different beers and just seeing what happens. We've got the Tempest project, which is the barrel aging program, so we're giving that a little bit more focus as well this year. In terms of like Lazer Crush, it's only in can at the minute, so we're hoping to figure out a way to get it into keg. And
Yeah.
that would be the dream, really, to have Lazer Crush on a whole bunch of pubs on draft. I mean, I'd love to try it on draft. So that is the aim at some point, but there's a bit of an engineering sort of technical workaround to look into.
Speaking to the Mikkeller team yesterday as well, they said a similar thing. They'd love to get, because they have the drink in the sun cans, and they'd love to get that on keg as well at some point. But like they say, there's a lot to sort of get there scientifically before it is possible. So but I think it was in Sainsbury's, the Lazer Crush, when it first came out. You could pick it up in the supermarket, or
it should be in a few supermarkets. So we're in a couple. We're sort of slowly expanding that as well. But Sainsbury's should have it.
Yeah, the thing it's great. The more sort of readily available it is, the better for everyone. And
that's it. When you see it, you might pick one up, or it might change your evening, take it in a different direction. So
definitely, that's it. I think with people like yourself and Mikkeller and Brewdog and stuff all coming into it, and producing these beers that look and taste like the alcohol versions of the beers, it really does normalize it. And and again, like you say, it's a conversation thing as well. I've shared these beers with my friends, and I can't believe how good they taste. I can't believe how much it tastes like sort of higher percent beer. So I think
that's what we've been so lucky, is like the last sort of year and a bit, particularly, all these new beers have been coming out, and it really has opened this whole new sort of world and segment of beer, and in general, as well as craft beer. So
definitely.
It's super exciting. I did actually forget to mention the sort of the brew process behind Lazer Crush. So there's a few other breweries using it, but we use a new strain of yeast. So that's the process is slightly different. So we don't, instead of using a tiny amount of sort of malt or de-alcoholizing the beer afterwards, we use a new strain of yeast called CHR Hansen Nia, Norwegian strain of yeast. Basically, that just produces only a small amount of alcohol as a byproduct of the fermentation. So it also gives it that peachy flavor. It adds a big element of that. So that's another thing we're really excited about, is that it is quite a sort of bit of a technological breakthrough, if you will. So it's a different thing entirely. So
nice. It's all the better for it as well. Like you say, you're not kind of boiling off anything. It's a natural process, and tastes great. And now you said the iced tea, I really get that now.
I'm not sure that's on like our official tasting notes or anything, but obviously tasting's really subjective. And I was just like, I had it, I was like, it's like a beer, but it reminds me of an iced tea. That's my sort of favorite flavor. There's also like a little bit of there's a little bit of pininess as well. There's like a few other things going on, especially as it lingers. And what I do really like about it is when it's been open for just like 10 minutes or so, it actually it sort of develops in quite a nice way. Like a lot of beers will sort of go flat or a different direction that's not as pleasant, but I quite like how this sort of opens up a little bit.
Absolutely, definitely. I think when the first, it definitely changes in the glass. I think it's lovely. Well, thank you so much, Ben, for joining us first thing on a Saturday, and hopefully you can go out and enjoy a bit of the weather now.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's been really nice chatting.
Thank you. And best of luck with everything with Beavertown in the future. I'm sure you'll be off doing all other types of jobs then as well soon.
Hopefully not. I really like this one. This is,
awesome.